You've probably been in someone's home before where everything was just right. Clean counters, clear floors, nothing out of place. And it wasn't for guests. It wasn't a special occasion. It's just always like that. And you found yourself wondering, how do they actually live this way? Because it's not just that their house is clean. Something about them is different. The way they move through their space. The way they seem somehow more settled than most people. Here's what the research actually says about those people, and it's not what you'd expect.
Before we get into it, I want you to hold something in mind. Think about the cleanest home you've ever been in. Not a hotel, someone's actual home. And think about what it felt like to be inside it. Not just what it looked like, what it felt like. There was probably something in the air that's hard to name, a kind of calm. A sense that whoever lived there had something figured out that most people haven't. Hold that feeling, because by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly what was behind it, and it has almost nothing to do with cleaning. Let's start with your brain, because your brain is doing something in a messy environment that you're probably not aware of. There's a concept in environmental psychology called cognitive load. It's the total amount of mental effort your brain is running at any given moment. And decades of research have confirmed something that should change how you see your own space. Visual clutter isn't just annoying, it costs you. Every unwashed dish, every pile of mail, every jacket draped over a chair you meant to hang, your brain registers every single one of those as an unfinished loop. And unfinished loops are expensive. A well-known study out of Princeton University found that physical clutter in your environment directly competes for your attention. It taxes the part of your brain that processes what you see. It chips away at your ability to focus, even when you're not looking at the mess. So a cluttered room isn't just irritating, it's quietly making you less sharp, less calm, more mentally exhausted, before the day has even started. Now, flip it. When your environment is clear, your brain stops running those background checks. It stops cataloging what's unfinished. And for the first time in hours, it gets to simply be. That's why people who maintain a clean home tend to think more clearly. Not because they're smarter, because their environment stopped working against them.
But here's what most people miss about this. When we talk about people who keep a clean house every single day, we're not talking about people who love scrubbing their bathroom. Almost nobody loves that. What we're actually talking about is people who figured something out, consciously or not. Maintaining their space is one of the most reliable tools they have for maintaining a sense of control over their own life. Think about everything you cannot control. The economy, traffic, what your boss decides in a meeting you're not in, other people's moods, other people's choices. Most of life sits completely outside your reach. But your kitchen counter, that's yours. Whether your bed is made, whether the sink is clear, those things are entirely within your domain. And every single time you act on your space, every time you restore it to order, you send a message to your nervous system. I've got this. I can handle things. Everything is going to be okay. In psychology, this connects to something called locus of control. People with a strong internal locus of control, meaning they genuinely believe their actions shape their outcomes, tend to experience less anxiety, more motivation, and greater resilience over time. And here's what's remarkable about that. One of the simplest, most repeatable ways to strengthen that belief every single day is to take ownership of the space you live in. Not because it matters that the counter is clean, because the act of making it clean tells your brain something about who you are. So the obvious conclusion at this point seems to be, clean people are just more disciplined, they have more willpower, they care more. That's what most people assume, and it's completely wrong. When you watch someone with a consistently clean home, you are not watching discipline in action. Discipline is a finite resource. We've all experienced this, strict with ourselves in one area, completely unraveling in another because the tank ran out. What you're actually watching is something else entirely. You're watching automation. You're watching a system. You're watching someone who crossed a line a long time ago, and once you understand where that line is, everything about this habit starts to make a different kind of sense. Here's the line, and it has everything to do with identity. People who clean their home every day are not primarily motivated by cleanliness. What happened is something quieter. Somewhere along the way, through repetition, through seeing the results, through the small feeling of satisfaction after the task was done, they internalized a self-image. They became the kind of person who keeps a clean home. And once a behavior becomes part of how you see yourself, it stops requiring willpower. It becomes automatic. It becomes who you are. Behavioral psychology is very clear on this. We consistently act in alignment with the identity we hold about ourselves. Which means if you carry a belief that you're a disorganized person, someone who just can't keep things tidy, that belief is quietly giving you permission to let things pile up, and then pointing at the pile as proof. But here's what matters. Identity isn't fixed. It's built through evidence, and the evidence is your own behavior. Every time you put a dish away instead of leaving it in the sink, you are casting a vote for a different version of yourself. Every time you wipe down the counter before you go to bed, you are adding one more data point to a new story about who you are. Do that consistently enough, and your brain has no choice but to update its picture of itself. A 2009 study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology found that it takes an average of 66 days, not 21, 66, for a new behavior to become automatic. To shift from something you have to consciously choose to something your brain simply does on its own. That's the line those people crossed. Not a personality type, not a gift, just repetition long enough that it stopped feeling like repetition. I want to say something here that doesn't get said enough in conversations about this. A clean home is not about cleanliness. It is a physical expression of the standard you hold for yourself. It reflects, quietly and constantly, what you believe you deserve. Think about that. The state of your space is sending you a message every single hour you spend in it, and most people have never consciously registered what message their space is sending them. When you walk into a room that's cluttered, unfinished, slightly chaotic, your nervous system reads it. Things are not handled. You are behind. You can't quite rest here. When you walk into a space that's clear and ordered, even if it's simple, even if it's small, your nervous system reads that too. Things are handled. You are someone who takes care of what's theirs. You can rest here. The people who always have clean homes have figured this out. Not always consciously, but somewhere in them, they decided that their environment matters, that their inner world is reflected in their outer world, that the space they come home to every night should feel like somewhere they actually want to be. And every time they act on that, every time they wipe the counter, make the bed, clear the sink before they sleep, they are not just cleaning, they are reinforcing a belief about themselves, a belief that says, I live here, this is what I deserve. That belief compounds, quietly, daily, invisibly, until one day someone walks into their home and thinks, how do they live like this? And the answer is, one small decision at a time, for long enough that it stopped being a decision at all.